What's up, everybody? I feel like this is more your show, so introduce us.
Welcome. This is another episode of What's in Your World. I'm your host, Salim, and next to me here is my delightful guest.
The temporarily permanent guest.
Yes.
Awkwardly enough. All right, first question of the night. We're going to go through kind of some, semi-rapid fire.
Okay.
Because I want you to take your time with some of the questions, and I may have follow-up questions and run things like that.
Okay.
Where do you see the future? What do you see as the future?
Oof.
When you think of the future,
what
do you see?
I love that question because it's actually been on my mind. It's just a quick little image. All I see is I am in the back seat.
This is deep.
Adjacent to the driver's side.
Okay.
And I'm by myself, and the car is driving me.
Why is that what you see? What about that
I don't
makes
know,
you feel... And I see where you're going, but I'm just asking
in the
follow-up
past, 6 or 7 months or so, I've learned more and more about, what not only Tesla is doing, but because other companies can now produce this thing because they have the technology, that, this is a real thing. And so, I think about it now. It's
that you may not be driving a car very soon.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I love riding in cars.
Yep.
Possibly more than I love driving.
Do you think a car will be safer or not safer?
Yes, I think it'll be safer.
Why do you think it'll be safer?
Well, because of the other technology that'll go into that, being I don't even know what the new GPS or nav, that they're using for this technology, this self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the coolest part about that point right there, not to get too deep into this, but when all cars are driving each other, all cars will know about each other.
Yeah.
And then all cars you won't need stoplights anymore.
Yep.
Cars can go through intersections at 100 miles an hour because it's perfectly timed. So everything can just flow through.
Well, it's
just
airplanes can pretty much do that too.
For sure. On a totally different level.
It was going to be a matter of time.
Yeah.
And cars are much more simple than airplanes, I think.
Yes, 100%.
All
right. Next question. I may have asked you this question, but I want to ask you on actual this is one of my favorite questions to ask people, and there's a bunch of reasons why, but I'm not going to get into those tonight. And I may have asked you, but just follow along.
Okay.
If I had a pill, and this pill allowed you to live 1,000 years.
Yeah, you've asked me this on the show.
Have I asked you this on the show?
Yeah.
Shit.
This was episode 1.
I don't want to ask you this question anymore. All right. We're moving on. How do you define intelligence?
Ooh.
How do you see intelligence? When you think someone is intelligent, what characteristics build up to make that person like that to you?
Well, I think awareness is one of the first things.
Okay. And what do you mean by awareness?
Self-aware? Whether it be self-awareness or their surroundings.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because the smartest people I've known know exactly what's going on at all times, wherever they may be.
They see
and they're
the bigger picture happening at play.
Yeah.
I feel
that's one thing.
Okay.
I guess rational decision making.
Okay.
In terms of calmness under high pressure situations, or
when you see them having to make a decision.
Yeah.
What decision do they end up making?
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a hard question.
Those are the main two, I think.
Okay, that's fair. What do you think is the most important characteristic in being intelligent? I like that, by the way, you didn't say books at all.
No. Because I can consider, people who are like me to be intelligent, regardless.
What do you call, a Stephen Hawking or an Einstein?
Genius.
Okay. And what do you see would define a genius characteristic?
Just a true breakthrough in terms of
in their field.
In their field.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. They changed the game in something
Forever.
that they're into.
Yep.
You know, I totally agree with that one, 100%. These people think in a way. When I hear about the way Einstein thinks, I think that dude is thinking in a way that we are not thinking.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
even like people like Steve Jobs, for example, what we were talking about earlier
I
before we
think
were on
he's
air.
among. Honestly, I would put him not quite to an Einstein level because that really is. I think Einstein really does go to another level, but he really is one of the smartest men that have ever lived. On a level that it's not quite like physics and things like that, but
and a lot of and it's 100% still holding up to this day because we were talking about this new computer that he was definitely a part of.
I think he had to have had some foundational work. Yeah,
absolutely.
So like it just, anyways, it keeps going. All right. So, what do you think are the main characteristics of someone who's like super outgoing?
I'd say ability to express themselves anywhere they go. Like express their true self anywhere they go.
Yeah.
Ability to relate with people of all types.
Okay. What about someone who is introverted? What do you think are their main characteristics?
I think they definitely see more. Other than, because like, there's a lot more social experience on one side, and there's a lot more thought-provoking experience in terms of like how you are seeing what's around you.
What do you see yourself as?
Probably extrovert.
That's fair. Why do you see?
But I don't know. Like, I have my days.
You like to be alone.
Yeah,
You like to be in your
I'm
head.
fine being alone.
Yeah,
I'm
fair.
fine sitting there, anywhere, like, and just not saying anything to anybody.
That's fair.
You know, but like, people bring certain characteristics out of me. If you know.
Okay.
There are certain times where, especially if I know the if like I know my place in a certain setting, you know, I feel like that's the first step, is knowing what situation you're in when you get there, and that can determine whether or not I'm going to, you know, talk to everybody and you know, socialize, or I'm gonna just sit back and see what's going on and witness everybody do everything.
Dude, to like attach onto that, I've always thought it's almost like dogs trying to read someone's vibe.
You
know, like dogs
smell their butt, you know?
Yeah, just like almost true. Like these dogs are really, really good at seeing a human being and understanding exactly what emotion they're usually giving off.
Yeah.
It's very odd. I don't know how they do it.
Yep.
I don't know what sixth sense bullshit they've got, but they're just really good at that.
I think humans have it too. They just haven't really tapped into it.
We don't tap. Well, because they have to rely on this.
Yeah.
Like solely rely on every little thing and feeling and emotion, and like I can even see my dog watching me. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what yet. Sometimes, you know, like, and that's kind of anyways. I think that people who can read vibes, this person does not want to be talked to. This person wants to be talked to, but it's going to take some finagling. You know, like you can feel this person who's kind of wanting to do something. You know, like just things like that.
They'll want to be talked to when they talk.
Yes. I've seen. All right, so to give an example of this, and not to try to get too deep into this, but I've seen with little kids. When I would coach kids, and I always would try to make it a point to give each kid individual attention. I thought it was important to make them feel
100%.
like I know who you are.
100%.
I'm joking with you. Let's have a little relationship. We have a relationship. And some kids are very timid at the start. And it's I call it the long con. I have long cons in a bunch of different categories, but this is the long con with trying to get into a kid's life. And you just you keep going back to them. And you just keep the routine, like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to joke with you, and we're just going to keep doing this, you know? And, like, I don't care how you act.
Yeah.
Is really where I come from. And suddenly then you'll see them get out, and then you're like, yes.
Yep. Yep. And then
I'm in.
from there,
you know?
you can adjust how you treat this kid
Yes.
versus this kid.
Yes.
Like, is this kid going to
For
be
sure.
better with praise? Or is
For
this
sure.
kid going to be better when you tell him, hey, you see what you just did?
Some kid, dude. True story, man. When I was coaching down in Tampa, Florida, I did private training.
Mhm.
There was another guy that worked with me, and he was like our hard ass, and I was like the fun
Good cop,
kitty guy.
bad cop.
No joke. One kid who was 11 years old told our boss he didn't want to train with me because I was too fun, and that he needed to be pushed harder, and that I wouldn't push him hard enough. And my boss was like, "Don't take that as an insult, but like we're gonna have to move him over." And I was like, "Honestly, I don't really take it as an insult because I actually agree with him,
Mhm.
and I'm just not gonna be that type of coach. I like to just these kids want to hang out. A lot of them want to just hang out,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to hang out with them." And he ended up being in those groups.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to put me over in that group, okay, but that's not really the coach I am. This dude's like a Nazi.
Yeah.
Let him do that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was funny because that kid clearly wants to be pushed.
Yeah. That's funny though. When you private trained me, I feel like I was pushed really hard.
Yeah.
Well, because you
I
were
think I would've been a
you
little-
would go at the end of the session. You would get in goal, and I would do drills, and then I'd have to shoot on you, and I could never score.
Yeah, I love playing those drills.
And so it was, it really worked me
If
hard.
you understand goalkeeping, you can make it very difficult in those moments to score goals.
Well, yeah, and I would also do
Yeah.
like a 30-yard,
Yes. Yeah.
through gates, this
Don't
and
make
that,
it easy. Yes.
and then I have to.
Well, and you always push yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't need a coach to
That's
push
true.
you. You
That's
just
true.
needed the setup. Tell me what to do, and let me go do it.
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
I think you're one of those coaches that you were a player, and you will understand that role and how you were and the kids around you. And now that you're a coach, you are working with it, and you're seeing it, and you understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you are going to adapt to it very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun part of it. I loved being out there with the kids. That was the only fun part, I think, actually, in my opinion, in the end. Everything else sucked.
I enjoy a lot of it.
Anyway,
but the same things that suck for you suck for me. And,
I know you know.
And
I know you know. We're going to be
it'll
a dead
change
horse.
soon.
Moving on. You're 100 years old.
Okay.
What are you doing? It could be anything you want.
I'm sitting outside.
Okay.
I'm drinking some tea.
Okay. Where are you? Sitting outside where? I need a picture. Give me a mental image.
All right. I see a lot of trees, a couple mountains.
Okay.
I got a nice little garden in front of me.
Okay.
Array of exotic plants,
Okay.
whether it be fruits, vegetables.
So you want to be like a botanist?
Is
that where your head
that was
is?
that was one of something I was extremely interested in
Why didn't you pursue
at
it?
a young age. I couldn't remember the names of all the plants. I couldn't do in terms of biology. It was so much vocab.
You know what's funny? It's
I failed.
I hate that because that's the most irrelevant part of
I know.
botany.
I know.
And that's what I hate about school. School should not be discarding you from whatever that term is. I can't think of it at the top of my head. From going into that field simply because you can't get all the vocabulary words down. That shouldn't be the way that goes down.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
So you would have loved to have gone down that road.
Absolutely. I love just nature.
And what exactly would you have wanted to do in that aspect? Would you want to go down more of I want to preserve and study them, or I want to manipulate and push the boundaries?
Definitely no manipulation. Definitely no. I wanted to
Okay.
just learn.
Just understand.
And understand because
go try to find new ones.
Because I've always been fascinated with geography. So
Yeah.
plants from all over the world,
Yeah.
how, because if you go to Minnesota, the pine trees there totally different than the pine trees here. They do not look the same. It's a different kind. The grass grows differently in other parts of this country alone.
Yeah.
Just that kind of stuff is everything depends on its setting.
What's the most beautiful type of area that you've ever seen? For an example, for people would be
Dude.
a beach versus a mountain scenery.
I think maybe just because of being born in the Middle East, but desert
Yeah.
is so
are you talking about true desert, endless?
Like you cannot see anything
Horizon
but
is
sand.
like literally
You
over.
cannot see anything but sand.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you really like that? That's like almost like peaceful and calming.
That is just, I don't know, the way is
Yeah.
just my earliest memories of true peace.
Yeah.
I remember we went on this like camping trip with my school when I was like second grade maybe, and it was like I remember waking up in the morning before all the other kids did, and I walked outside and I walked a little bit, and all I could see was just that endless mountain of just sand. And it was just so just a picture I can never forget.
Did y'all have any of the like sand dunes that you would go sliding down and stuff like that?
Yep.
Oh man, I've always wanted to do that.
Yep.
That seems so
You
much
get
fun.
like a cardboard box. And just
Yeah,
ride
dude.
it down.
That's Po Man's way of doing it. I like it.
Yeah,
dude.
man. With your kids.
Oh well, of course you grab whatever you can, dude.
Yep.
That's the way it goes, dude.
Yep.
I love that shit.
And you pee in a sand hole.
That's Yo,
It's just like a tent
let's
and a
alright,
hole.
for real. As a boy, did you not just pee anywhere you felt like? I mean, come on.
No, I really didn't.
I still feel like I do.
I don't know, man.
For real?
Yeah.
As a kid growing up, you didn't just like.
I mean, I don't
Obviously
get me
not just,
wrong.
like,
I
in
was like
front of people,
fascinated
but,
with
like-
the idea, but I don't think I ever really. I probably was too afraid to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. Like I got caught by someone on a playground behind a tree going pee during like just like recess in middle school, you know, or I think it was elementary school. But, like, you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I
Man.
feel like middle school was me being like a little child. You
Yeah.
know, like that might as well be elementary school to me.
Yeah, dude, middle school is a weird time for kids.
Yes, it is.
I remember being everything. I was so scared of everything, every social interaction. Like, oof.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Growing up, it's very awkward. It's a very awkward thing, and I'm actually one thing that I get really excited about is watching my child grow up. Will be a fun thing to see a human being through complete birth to, you know, I guess not death. Hopefully, I hope to never see
Right,
that, which
sure.
is such a weird concept.
Sure.
But like, till they're at least an adult in that whole process, and then once they're adult, you kind of, but
Because everybody has it differently. You know,
for sure.
no generation will ever have the same like ages 12 to 14 years
No,
old.
and her life
you
will
know?
be so drastically different than like say your life and my life will not have been in the end when we look back that different from one another. But I actually think that her life when she looks back versus one of us
Mm-hmm.
will be drastic.
Yeah.
It will be like so drastic that you didn't grow up with a car as a 16-year-old. That's such a think about it. You got your car when you were 16. That was so much fun. Like things like that
Yeah.
are just so not the same. All right, would you be okay with living to be 200 or 300 years old?
Only if it was naturally, so probably no, because that's probably not possible.
All right.
But I don't think I would like do anything to preserve my own.
All right. If
You know, it all depends on the situation.
no, and that's why I'm going to give you some weird situations, and some people find these controversial. You have lung cancer, but you have the opportunity to have someone else's lungs transplanted into yours. Would you take them?
Maybe.
Maybe. What if they were cloned from you?
I don't know. Yikes. I really don't know.
Why? What makes you so nervous about
I
that?
don't know. Cloning's still just a weird concept.
In what form? Because there's a lot of different forms of cloning. So let's make sure that
Well,
we're
I
on,
don't want them doing anything that's gonna
like full human to human.
Yeah,
and then
no.
like
no,
no,
thank
like
you.
all right. So like most likely they'll end up like just printing out an organ that is made of your DNA and your cells.
If I'm that rich,
This is already being done.
but if I'm that rich to get that done,
I think in like 50, 60, 70, 100 years, There are scientists already predicting, legit scientists, that the people who are going to live a couple hundred years have already been born.
Oof.
So this doesn't mean that you can't.
Sure.
Like, my mom and I were talking about it. When she was like our age and she saw someone who was 60 years old, she was like, that was ancient.
Wow.
That was an ancient person to them. Her dad died at 50 of things that my dad, who's a doctor, said he would have survived if it was just another 10 years in the fucking medical world future. So, like, now you look at 60, and my parents are beyond that. I'm like, y'all are still young and spry, you know?
Right.
Like, 60's not that old. Like,
Right.
you look at 60 today, and you're like, this is really not
Right.
that old. What happens when you're looking at 100?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that old. This is coming, you know? Like, that's going to happen. And I think they'll be able to just, you know, I think they'll be able to just clone your lungs, you know? They'll be able to just print them for you, and then you could just get a new lung or whatever. The question is, do you morally okay with it? And would you take them? You know, like that's a big question.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Are you okay with cloning in that sense that you're thinking about?
Right.
Where you can just clone a whole nother human being. What if they just cloned you?
I wouldn't be
Now,
okay.
granted, we know that wouldn't be you.
Right.
It would just be an identical version of you that now has a new brain, is going to grow up. But, I mean, they may have your tendencies. They may be a lot of who you are because that's naturally who you are. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so we don't
crazy.
really know exactly what would come out of it. Those are the weird parts, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a weird part.
Well, there's many weird parts, but... All right, what if this happened? Would you be cool with it?
Like I said, I don't know.
You're the one that has to sign the law. Would you do it? Yes or no?
Probably, yeah, because it'd probably be inevitable.
That's fair. Okay. There's
But
no right or
but
wrong answer. I just like putting you in weird spots.
Yeah. But I would never be in that spot. So
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that
No,
spot.
that's true. Are you comfortable with people living hundreds of years old because of modern medicine? So it's semi-natural, but it's not natural.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's going to be inevitable.
Yeah, that's fair.
If the science is backing it, like,
Yeah.
it'll be inevitable.
Okay.
It's not like I'll be able to... I'm not going to turn into an assassin that's taking these people out. Like,
This is fair. No, I'm just curious to know, like, no. It's legit. When I was in college, we had a guy who was, you know, talking about ethics and morals, and, you know, he was talking about cloning and things like that, and he asked us as a class the question of the lungs. And I was, at the time, I'm young, I'm like 19, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Take the lungs, yeah. Half the class is like, absolutely not. And we're all like debating this for like an hour, and I'm like, what? This is crazy. Now that 10 years later, I'm like, okay, I see a lot more now, and I get a lot more of the other side of this whole thing. But he called a patient with terminal ill lung cancer that he was talking about and asked the patient right there in class on the phone, would you take those lungs? And the guy was like, absolutely not. I would never take them. And he was like, I would rather go ahead and go the route that I'm going right now. He was like, I've got about 6 months. That's what they're giving me. I would not take those lungs. I'll go ahead and pass on in 6 months. That is what my journey is supposed to happen. I was like, dude, for real, like, now that I like look back a couple of times on it, like, it truly changed my life hearing that from that man. I never thought in a million years that there would be someone at that time in my life that would have said that. But then when I heard it live on the phone, I was like, whoa.
interesting.
There's a whole other take to this. I need to understand this. And that led me on another journey in my life to like figure out like the other side of this world. But
Right.
I totally agree. It's weird. It's a weird thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a weird moment in life where I was like, whoa, that is a morally weird question, I guess. I never really thought about that. I'm just little old Chaz living in my life.
Right.
All right, go back. You can't play soccer. What sport do you play?
Sport?
Yeah.
Jeez. I loved fencing.
Dude, that's an awesome.
I did
awesome
that
pick.
one summer
Awesome pick.
in like 3rd grade, and I was good. I remember being I'd be like a 5th grader that had like been in the program or something. I remember being like very swift. And it was, I don't know, it was one of those things. If I could go back and take some fencing lessons,
That would be
100%.
That's fair. That's a good
100%.
pick. That's a good pick.
It's one of those sports that's an art form, like truly. It's almost like a martial arts. It's almost like a yoga because it's very like, fluid and very technical.
Dude, I love it. I think fencing's almost like a dying art.
Yeah.
Like sword fighting in general. I think is almost like a dying art. Which what a cool. I don't know. I feel like you take any weapon and kind of use it as a sword. I just think the whole idea of being able to learn how to do that,
Mm-hmm.
it would be an awesome,
Mm-hmm.
awesome little cool like just life trait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go back in time. All right. We're talking pre-1700s. Would you rather be an explorer on the land or explorer on the sea?
Land.
Why?
I haven't really tested my limits on a boat like that.
That's fair.
So
So you don't really want to go out in the ocean
yeah.
for long periods of
Yeah.
time. All right. Today, would you rather be traveling on the ocean all the time or traveling in any form or fashion, however you would want? Would you rather be traveling all the time, though, on the water or traveling all the time on the land?
Land.
In, like, what kind of capacity? Would you want to be on a train or would you want to be, like, in a bus or just a normal car by yourself? Long distance.
How about a UFO where I can just
I didn't say the air. I said land. Cheater.
self-driving car.
That's a good answer. All right, I like that. Do you believe in aliens?
100%.
Do you think that there is a smarter or dumber civilization out there?
Both.
I like these answers. Okay. Do you think aliens have ever come to Earth?
100%.
Do you think they're still coming to Earth?
Can't know for sure.
Do you think they're here right now?
Can't know for sure, but likely.
That's fair.
I think it's likely.
That's fair.
Because the term aliens is very broad,
This is true. Do you think that we have alien technology?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, what is a Raspberry Pi, man?
I know. Well, it is crazy that just suddenly in the 1940s, out of nowhere, we just like exponentially exploded with technology.
Tesla.
Well, like the real Tesla, Nikola Tesla, for
Nikola.
real. That dude, it was one of the smartest people to ever live, for
100%.
sure. When I look back and like really study what he did and what he was doing.
Well, but it's hard to
Ooh.
because so much of that stuff has been taken down.
Yeah.
You can't look at it anymore.
Well, I mean, we only know bits and pieces of what he actually was doing and accomplishing in his laboratories.
Mm-hmm.
He died like a broke man. I mean, the guy had like no money, but
They took everything from him.
they just like put it. He was allowed to just go off into these areas. And
Well,
just
they
do
called
whatever.
him crazy.
I
They
think-
thought he was insane,
I think.
but they were lying.
Honestly, though, I think all people at that level of intelligence are
They
a little
have to
crazy.
be. They have to be.
I think
It's
they're
just whether you're willing to trust them or not.
yeah.
And
I
don't
think Elon
they
Musk
were.
has to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I read I saw a theory that he already has Neuralink in him. You watched that one the other day. Every time he is asked a question, you see his eyes going like.
Yeah, I mean he's like trying to process.
It's like he's reading something that his internal Google is telling him.
Listening to him talk on the Joe Rogan show was probably one of like the most eye-opening.
The new
things.
one or the old
The
one?
old one, the original one.
But they say like that one didn't have Neuralink, but the one he just did, I haven't watched it. The one he just did, like he's just very, very different. I don't know. I'm not saying any of this is true.
Yeah, no.
But I would love to watch that new one and see if I can tell a difference. Because I watched the first one.
Fair. All right. Leading into, what's your favorite conspiracy, or at least one of your favorite conspiracies?
The fluoride one.
What's the what's the
Just
fluoride?
that so that fluoride calcifies a gland in your brain,
I did not know this.
and fluoride
At
is
least
in
I
your
don't think
tap water.
I think I did know this.
Well, they just say it's like the biggest lie that it is for your teeth. Sure, it like keeps enamel,
So you think
but it
or at
has
least
long term
the
effects.
conspiracy is that this is actually killing you.
Not killing you, but it's not
good for
doing
you.
anything good for you.
Man, so why are we using it?
Great question.
Okay, interesting.
Ask the guy who wrote the conspiracy theory.
Where did you find out this conspiracy theory?
Right after working in politics, I got really interested in conspiracy theories,
Okay.
and it was just one that came along.
Okay. All right. We're 30 minutes in.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of. I always have questions, and then we're talking, and then I start forgetting shit.
Well, yeah, because we have good conversations.
Yeah. And then I'm like, shit, I need to keep going. All right. When you think of your childhood, what's one of your favorite memories?
I have a very vivid memory of one of the first times I played like a pickup game. When I lived in Saudi Arabia, it was after school. We had like an outdoor court. It was like futsal. And I played goalie. And I had these like futsal gloves that like, because like futsal goalie gloves, like they don't have like fingertips.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I remember putting them on, and like they started playing, and just like I remember being so happy.
Yeah.
There, like my adrenaline was fun. You know, I'm like, what, like 7, 6.
You think that was part of your love for the game?
Mm-hmm. I think that moment alone changed me. And then, you know, moved here and then signed me up for rec soccer, and like then not even 2 years later I was like all in.
That's fair.
Like literally all in. It was the only
So
thing.
did everybody play there?
Yeah, at least for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was something everybody did for fun.
So that's like every other country. I also think though to myself, would I have been that good in another country then?
Yeah, because you would have played it for fun all the time.
God, that's also a good point. Like I would have been better actually than I was, at least here.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been a better player.
I think about these
individually.
These kids, we call them little ballers at Birmingham Futsal, and they're like 4, 5, 6-year-olds. We've been coaching them, like some of them for like almost a year, and like this is a little 5-year-old that can like do the scissors and like do pullbacks and change direction and strike the ball well, and that kid's like 5.
Where's he from?
Here.
Where do you learn all that?
Here.
Yeah, that's legit.
From us.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, where is that here? How often can you find that? You know? Well, because it's not just like the.
But don't you touch the ball a whole lot more in futsal?
Yeah.
You get a lot more touches on
Yeah.
it.
Well, and the ball moves quicker, so you have to react quicker.
Yeah.
And it's heavier.
Yeah.
So it's going to roll a bit more.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to use the weight.
It also doesn't go in the air as much, so you're
Nope.
not like heading the ball.
None of the stuff that these kids have ever done has anything to do with the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need to learn how to juggle when you still can't dribble? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. I don't.
There are that's definitely something
to
kids need to learn, 100%.
For sure.
But
for sure, I totally.
There's other things that I would say are more of a priority. Because, like, I know kids that are trying to juggle all the time, but you don't even know how to dribble. You can't pass a ball yet.
You don't know how to hit a ball properly.
Yeah.
You just swing your leg and hit the ball.
You just swing your leg.
You know?
And you've been doing it for a couple years now, and that's just what you know how to do.
I didn't ever have anybody ever properly tell me how to hit a ball until I was like 19 years old. Like, don't get me wrong, I was doing it. I guess the only thing I had ever been taught properly was a goal kick.
Mm.
Outside of that, no. And even then, someone like explained it to me like I was 5 years old. God, how unprofessional. I had someone try and tell it to me like I was like 5 years old, and that's what finally, like, at 19,
Mm-hmm.
it finally clicked in across the board how this all worked and blah, blah. Like, the whole thing was broken down for me. Like, that, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And kids need to know how to do those fundamental things before they try to go do complex things like juggling. Because then I think, like, all right, well, then to build on that and try to show you how to juggle, I need you to know how to do this first.
Right.
That's not good. How long do you want to go?
However long. You got any more questions?
I mean, not all
This has been fun.
You liked it?
I kind of want some shower thoughts.
Some shower thoughts?
I kind of want to hear some shower, and then I kind of want to talk about some shower thoughts.
All right, I want you to give me a story.
Okay.
All right? I want it to be a real life story, and
Okay.
it's whatever you want to tell.
Okay.
But it has to be a true story. All right? And it can even be a story that doesn't directly involve you. It's just something you were kind of around and saw.
Okay. I'll tell you, the first like real party I ever went to. I remember I was doing my thing. I ended up like leaving the party for a little bit and then coming back. And then yada yada happens. It gets like crazy. People are like, I remember watching a guy like throw up on himself, and like then he just had throw up on his shirt, and then a kid like passed out right next to the pool, and like watched his like foot slip from the concrete into the pool. And then that night, I remember like going to where I was gonna sleep and like put on some Futurama on my phone. I was streaming Futurama on my phone, like getting ready to pass out, and hear like mad thumping in the bathroom next to me, and then like hear what I think sounds like throw up. And so I get up and I go to the restroom, and there's like a door separating like the toilet from the shower, from like the shower bathtub. And like I hear like a little bit of motion, and I like open the door, and there's a dude's head literally goes from like laying on the door to like falling on the floor. And I look, and what really got me was a horrid smell. It smelled like Doritos and I can't think of that drink that all the kids used to drink. Well, not really kids, but like in high school. What did those kids used to drink? It was like a tall thing. It was like an energy drink.
Not Monster.
No, it was an alcoholic energy drink. Loco, was it Loco something?
I forgot the name. I don't know.
Four Loco. That's what it was.
I think so.
Okay.
I think there's another one too.
And it was just like Doritos and that, and like, so that's when I opened the door. His head like falls on the floor, and it's just a dude laying in his own throw up. And I tell you, see that chair? That's how much throw up was on the table. See that table?
Okay.
That's how much throw up was like around him, like all the way down to his feet to his head. He was just laying in it, and I was like, nah. Took a selfie and like went back to bed. I still have that photo on my phone. Anyways,
that's disgusting.
I thought it was so funny. I was just at the point where I was like, so much weird stuff has happened tonight. I'm like, this is. It was one of those nights you had just crossed so many.
Yep.
Things you had never seen before.
Yep.
Anyways, so then I go back to watching my Futurama. I'm about to pass out, and I hear this like older lady scream, and I'm like, uh-oh, parents are home. Which like I felt like I knew that they knew about the party, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But like, the lady walks upstairs, goes to the room that's across from where I'm sleeping, and then is like looking for the dude, because the dude who had passed out, it was his house. The dude who had passed out,
Yeah.
So the mom is like, what is going on here? Did you throw up? And he was like, no, I didn't. And she was like, clean this up. Are you serious? And like then goes into where I am and was like, did so and so throw up? And I was like, I don't know. Because I didn't want to throw this guy under the bus.
It's kind of hard at that point.
Because it was like, I knew exactly what happened. And I felt bad for him. Because, I mean, I don't know. And she was like, okay, thank you. And then I fell asleep. And, yeah, that was the first party I ever went to, man.
That was your first party.
That was the first, like, party I ever went to.
That sounds like it was a good first party.
Yeah, it's
you know, like,
crazy time.
I like the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Did you go to a lot of parties?
Not really.
No, weren't
I
a big party
mean,
person.
Comparatively to like people I knew.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I did from time to time. Usually just with like soccer people.
Yeah.
That like my teammate was who brought me to that party.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah. You got any shower thoughts?
All right, we're just gonna go through some, and some may be dumb. All right.
Okay.
But I did like this one. There are probably a lot of answering machines sitting in storage which hold the only voice recordings for people who have passed away. That's kind of sad. But very true. And there's probably on the other side of that sadness with the happiness of like just funny ass shit.
Yeah.
That is just sitting around and just on recording machines,
Yeah.
Considering how these are all like top, by the way. Like,
Okay.
I'm not reading like the bottom of the list,
Okay.
so some of these may be stupid, but I feel like they should be all right. Did it just reset on me? Considering how long his fame has lasted, Shakespeare did an incredibly small amount of promotional work. That's a very true point.
Wow.
He probably didn't do it.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, but he lived on forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much so that my last name has haunted me my whole life. Like I always had to play Romeo. Always. People always say, still to this day, Romeo, oh Romeo, where art thou? Like, dude, it goes on and on and on.
That's pretty funny.
Boomers are more worried about people playing games in which you are actively participating and your brain is engaged than they are television in which you are doing absolutely nothing and you are required to think. I guess I've always been upset with the fact that the older generations don't see value in video games. Like, I've had this argument with my sister-in-law. She truly does not. She genuinely laughed at me when I said there was a lot of benefits from playing video games. And I didn't understand that. I've looked more into it, and I do see the other side to where they're coming from, but I think they're wrong. I think there's an unlimited amount of actual, things that you could take away from video games, especially playing online, strategy games and stuff like that.
Sure.
Can be, not to mention, you can make a lot of money from this.
Yeah.
Not just playing video games, which you can make a lot of money from, but, then you get jobs working, in the military with machinery and things like that, and flying drones and all kinds of stuff. Dude, all kinds of shit come from that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one bothers me, that the older age groups. And I feel like that's pretty much what that's saying. Meanwhile, people sit around just watching TV.
Right.
All furniture and mattress stores exist in a binary state of either grand opening or going out of business, liquidation still. That's so true, dude.
That's pretty funny.
A carpenter is both a breadwinner and a homemaker.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess. Mermaids would probably have thick abs from constantly doing dolphin tricks and or swimming in general.
Who said mermaids are doing dolphin tricks?
I don't know, dude. That's actually a good point. Like, are they jumping out of the water and like? What movie? That has to be from a movie. Before computers, having to remember multiple passwords probably meant you had a pretty interesting life. It's probably true, actually. You're probably some like spy. Why'd you
Say that again?
Before computers ever existed, right? Having to remember multiple passwords probably meant you were a pretty interesting human being. Why would you need passwords? For what? You know, like your bank account, I guess? Like, I really don't know. Like, that's. Many people are not working remotely, they are living at work. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, that was deep. That was deep shower thought. Your attention span is a product that companies fight for. It's true.
Wow.
That's true. It's a very true statement. A kingdom established by Alexander the Etiquette would probably still be around. Oh, adequate. Ooh, man, I messed that one up. I'm just going to keep going. Woo! I feel bad about myself on that one.
It's okay.
Every butt smack sounds different, given the butt, its density, shape, and force of the smack. People in this world, holy shit. Reincarnation technically can exist as the molecules make up your body might someday be passed on to make up the body of another organism, perhaps even a human. Interesting thought, actually.
Read the beginning of that.
Reincarnation technically can exist.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. If you disintegrate into the ground and reincarnate back into a tree because you just grew into a tree from that soil, you kind of reincarnated, right? Ever since the launch of the first space station, the place with the highest IQ per capita is no longer on Earth. Not giving a shit would actually solve a lot of your problems, but not giving a shit probably created a lot of them too. I like that one. Naming a baby makes you think of all the people you have disliked throughout your life. That's true. I have many times when we were trying to name Lulu, be like, no, didn't like this person or this person. You know, like,
Can't name her that.
Can't do that.
Sorry.
Can't do that. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to log in because then it'll give me different shower thoughts.
Okay. How about another story for y'all?
Ooh, I like a story.
Prompt me, Chaz.
Tell me your first memory or one of your first memories of love. Not family love, romantic love. I mean, you could be like 5 years old. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like my first like celebrity I fell in love with. Who was it? Rihanna, maybe? I loved Rihanna, dude. I used to listen to so much Rihanna. Dude, Under My Umbrella. Dude, that song went hard.
Really? You were like...
I love Rihanna.
That was your famous person?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like everybody growing up has like at least one famous person that they
well,
like.
yeah,
really
there's a couple
obsessed
others.
over.
There's a couple others, but
Yeah,
pretty much musicians.
That's fair. I mean, that's not a bad obsession to have.
Yeah.
I guess, as a child.
I mean, I'm definitely over it.
Yeah, we all. I feel like we all.
But like, it was just so fascinating to like hear someone's voice and like, you know, be able to relate to their singing, you know.
100%. All right, ready for more?
Yeah.
Being able to tolerate the sound of your own voice in a video is probably the highest form of self-acceptance.
Say that again.
I actually agree with this. I struggle with hearing myself. being able to tolerate the sound of your own voice in a video is probably the highest form of self-acceptance.
Oh, wow.
And I agree.
That's pretty fair.
We do not check the refrigerator multiple times to find new food. We check to see if our standards have dropped enough to eat what was available.
I really relate with that.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
I've checked that fridge 6 times in a day just to see.
Am I willing to eat that?
Am I?
Not
do
yet.
I want to? Do I want to
yet.
like take that out and put it on the stove? And
This is weird. Gummy worms have more bones in them than actual worms.
it's true. Gelatin.
That's weird.
Yeah. That's why I don't do no gelatin. I don't do no gelatin. Have you seen? Look up. Literally, just look up what is gelatin and click images,
We're not going down the trip.
and
We're definitely
you
not
will
gonna-
never want to eat a gummy bear ever again.
Don't do that to me. I love gummy bears. I love little gold bears. You aren't paid according to how hard you work. You are paid according to how hard you are to replace. That's
Ooh.
very true, actually. That's very.
And
very
what if you're just like so cool?
Dude, there are some
You
people.
do absolutely nothing.
There are some people.
You bring nothing to the table other than how cool you are. That's fair.
If you could do that.
People have kept up jobs, you
Yeah.
know.
Like, you can pull that off.
Yeah.
Most of the trash you see on the ground is unhealthy food packaging because people who don't care about their own health, don't care about theirs either.
Damn.
True. The implication of a hot dog being pureed meat in animal casing intestine is that a hot dog doesn't stop being a hot dog even after we eat it. By that conclusion, we as the hot dog's casing become hot dogs ourselves when we eat hot dogs. Dude, that's insane. Can't believe I just read that.
They just kept going, didn't they?
Dude, and that got 100,000 likes. How does that? Superman's most unappreciated power and his extraordinary fine motor skill. Okay, Superman's most unappreciated power is his extraordinary fine motor skill. He has almost unlimited strength and can literally move mountains, yet is also able to shake someone's hand without inadvertently ripping off their arm. This is true. The kids growing up gaming on tablets are going to have all the internet addiction without any of the computer skills.
Wow.
They'll have some computer skills, but it won't be a whole lot. In a span of a few years, our parents go from telling us sex is bad to I want grandkids.
Wow. All right, give me 4 more.
People who jog on the roads in the dark, wearing dark clothes and no lights or reflectors, are a unique combination of a person who cares about their health and well-being and doesn't care about their health and well-being. Yeah, that's true. Because you're jogging, so you care. But you're trying to get hit by a car, so do you care? It's true. On a galactic scale, amber and pearl are far rarer than gold and diamonds because they require life. That's so true. Gold's on like an asteroid, right?
Diamonds aren't even like
Diamonds are the most pure.
that rare.
No, they're not. We can make them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Placing hand sanitizers in elevators would probably increase their usage simply because people have nothing else to do. I like that one. All right, last one. People who don't understand how Clark Kent can pass as Superman have never seen Tony Hawk without a skateboard.
Say that again?
Oh my god. Alright, so like you see Clark Kent, right? And you're like, how could someone look at Clark Kent and be like, that's not Superman?
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the same people who've never seen Tony Hawk without a skateboard. So when people see Tony Hawk without a skateboard, you just know the guy. To most people, I may even struggle at first. I may have to take a double take and be like, wait a minute.
Sure.
That's fucking Tony. He's got a pretty tall, lanky.
Yeah, I would recognize
I've
Tony
seen him
Hawk,
enough.
but I've
But the
seen
average
enough,
person most likely would not notice twice
Mhm.
about who they know who Tony Hawk is. I thought that's kind of funny actually. Like without his skateboard,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like he's a new person. Yeah. All right, you want to end on anything?
Yeah. No.
Dude, that was a brilliant answer. Yes, I do actually. No.
No is my answer.
No is my answer.
So I had something to add, and that thing I had to add was no.
Oh, okay, well, good. All right, well, then you know what I'm going to add? An end to this stream. Bye, everybody.